April 6th, Lincoln County Board of Commissioners meeting. I'm going to go ahead and call this to order. I see Commissioner Hunt is on. Do I have Commissioner Hall?
Katie, I don't think we can hear you.
Oh, thank you. We'll try that again. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, April 6th, 2020. We're here for a Board of Commissioners meeting. I'll go ahead and call that meeting to order. I see Commissioner Hunt is here. Do I have Commissioner Hall? Commissioner Hall, are you on? Okay. We'll wait a minute.
Boy, my voice isn't here, but I am here.
Okay, thank you. We're going to wait a minute to make sure Commissioner Hall can get on.
Understood.
Commissioner Hall, are you on yet?
He's getting ready to do it. I just poked my head on the door, on her door.
Okay,
So, you know,
all right.
So just a minute.
Okay, we'll stand by. This is going to be some really exciting live action for people to watch. People working out technology. Okay, I think now I see her. Hi, Commissioner Hall. Good morning. Okay.
I'm good.
Yep. All right. I've already called the meeting to order, but now I see all three commissioners here, so we have a quorum. And to everyone watching, thank you for kind of bearing with us here as we navigate our way through having our first virtual meeting. So just have some patience with us. So the first thing we're going to do is the adoption of the consent calendar. These are items of a routine nature that either commissioners or staff can pull for further discussion if needed. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you.
So, Chair Jacobson, I need to get a cord to plug into my laptop. My battery is low, so I will be right back.
Go ahead. Thank you. Okay, as Commissioner Hunt gets his power cord here, I think it might be Council Belmont that's going to be walking us through two decision action items we have, Order 42090 and 42091. Wayne, are you on?
I am.
Okay, maybe we'll wait for Commissioner Hunt to get back, but there he is.
I'm back.
Okay.
All right, Commissioners, our two decision action items today relate to the ever-changing state and federal response to the COVID-19 crisis in terms of leaves that are provided for employers and employees in what's really, again, an environment we've never quite dealt with before. You had adopted some temporary personnel rule amendments, which were later ratified by the full board. That's the process we use. And we left open the possibility, which has now occurred, that state and federal governments would step in and expand the kinds of leaves that are available. And that's what we're taking care of today. So the two orders that we have, the first one, they've actually been adopted, but we need to ratify them today. And we're going to do those in reverse order than what's on the agenda now. The first one is to repeal orders number 320. I'm sorry.
420.
We're repealing the temporary rules, amendments to the personnel rules. I want to make sure we got the correct numbers there. I don't know if that's the correct numbers. So I'm going to clarify what those numbers are. But we're repealing the temporary personnel rule amendments that we adopted previously that dealt with leaves that we had provided for county employees, mostly around school closure, but also around at-risk populations. And we're now adopting the new state and federal laws, and those include Oregon adopted temporary rules to expand the use of the Oregon Family Medical Leave Act. The federal government adopted the Federal Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which really did two things. It established the emergency paid sick leave provisions and the expanded FEMLA, or Federal Medical Leave Act. And so those things, we have to mesh those all together. It's an extremely difficult process. I want to note that our personnel director and personnel staff, Mike Herford and his staff, and then Kristen Newell, Jerry Herbage, and Janet Harrison from my office have spent many hours really trying to work on meshing these things together and getting the information out to our employees on how these leaves will be applied in the future. So the first order will be to do the repeal. That's order 4-20-91, the previous rules, and then we're adopting the new ones that implement these particular new state and federal leave requirements. And that's order number 4-20-90.
Questions? Commissioner Hunt, questions?
I do want to note again for the record, I'm not sure that we have the right numbers in order B, 4-20-91. I got to go back and do it. But what we're doing is taking the action to repeal those temporary amendments to the Lincoln County personnel rules.
Got it.
Both of these actions are simply aligning our policies with what's changing at the state and national level.
That's correct.
Yeah. Commissioner Hall, questions, comments?
No questions.
Okay.
Ready for a resolution or a motion, Madam Chair?
One thing I would just add, which is this has been a constantly changing situation here. And so I just want to thank both our attorneys, Kristen Newell and Wayne Belmont, and Jerry Herbage, and our HR department that have been working tirelessly on trying to create these policies and then trying to keep up with the rules that come out from the state and federal level. So thank you for that. And yeah, I am ready to entertain a motion. I think we need to adopt B first.
That's correct.
Yep.
All right, I would move that we ratify the repeal of orders number 3-20-85 and 3-20-87 regarding temporary amendments to Lincoln County personnel rules.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. And now on to adopting order 42090. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve ratification of the amendment of the Lincoln County personnel rules to clarify leave policies regarding COVID-19.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. All right. Anything else from you, Council Belmont, on that?
No.
No. Okay. Next, we have a report from Nicole Fields, Deputy Director of Public Health, and this is a COVID-19 update. Nicole, are you there?
Good morning. Can you all hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Just to quickly go over the numbers for Oregon, there are 1,068 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the state of Oregon. That includes 4 in Lincoln County. I think one of the things that we really wanted to touch on this week is the CDC's recommendation that came on Friday about wearing a cloth face covering over your nose and mouth in a community setting and what that means for you. So Christy just put up a slide for us, and I think 3 key things to remember from this slide are place, face, and face. So the number one thing you can do is stay in place, stay in your home. If you do have to go out, you still need to really remember that social distancing of 6 feet or more, and the CDC is now recommending to cover your face. When we say cover your face, we're looking at things like bandanas, neck gathering, or homemade masks that would go over your nose and mouth in a breathable cotton material. The reason why we're now recommending masks is that there's growing evidence that folks may be asymptomatic with COVID-19, so they're not showing any symptoms, or kind of before they start showing symptoms, they're still able to spread it. So really what we're doing with these masks are covering faces so that if you have COVID-19 and you're not aware that you do, you'll be less likely to spread it in a community setting. So these aren't medical masks that you're wearing. These are masks that are going to help protect the people around you. We need to make sure that we're reserving medical and surgical masks for our healthcare workers and our first responders. It's really, really important that they have access to the PPE that they need. Masks can be very easily homemade. I mean, I've seen some tutorials on YouTube that are made with either like a bandana or a t-shirt and some rubber bands. So this doesn't have to be super high tech. It's just kind of cover your mouth and nose, make sure you can breathe through it. And that's going to help you stop from spreading the virus in case you know you don't have it, or in case you don't know that you have it. Any questions on that?
Nicole, there's so much information going on right now in media about masks and social media and kind of all of that stuff that's hard to keep track. If you are wearing a cloth mask, and it sounds like that is public health's recommendation, so if you are doing that, how often should you be washing that? I mean, you are breathing into it when it's on your face, so is that something you wash every time you take off?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend washing it every time you take it off. Something to think about is you still want to limit going out as much as possible. So if you need to, say, run to the grocery store, that's when you would put on your mask, wear it to the grocery store, and then when you come home, take it off, wash your hands really, really well, and go ahead and wash that mask.
Second question, if people are still working in an environment with other people, even if that 6 feet of space is maintained, would you still recommend that those masks are worn? I mean, because you are around other people, even if 6 feet is being maintained.
Yeah, so that depends a little bit on individual choice at this point. This isn't anything that is being mandated by the state. So it's something that if you feel like you want to take this extra step to protect yourself, then absolutely go ahead and do it. It's also, it depends on how close in proximity you're working to other people. So say if you have your own office where you can just kind of walk in the building, sanitize your hands, shut the door, and you're in that office, then I see you're probably fine without a mask. If you're in an open room with lots of people coming and going, like a cubicle setting, you might want to think about it. It also depends too on how comfortable you are wearing it. If you have any breathing difficulties like asthma, a mask can oftentimes do a little bit more harm than good because it puts more stress on your lungs trying to breathe through it for a long period of time. So just kind of take that into consideration as well.
Okay, thank you. Questions from others? Commissioner Hunt, questions?
No, I think Nicole presented the pertinent facts, and I'd emphasize again, although masks are encouraged to be worn, the number one priority is to stay in place.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are healthy and you're going out in a place where there are people who actively have COVID-19, a mask is not going to protect you very well from getting that virus. A homemade mask is just not meant for that. A homemade mask is to help you stop spreading the virus if you have it and don't know about it. So that's an important thing to remember. People are we worry that people might feel very, very safe having a mask on. The masks that we have right now are just not meant for that. So stay home.
Okay, Commissioner Hall, questions or comments?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, Nicole, is there any other updates you'd like to provide us beyond the mask recommendation?
I think recommendation is just really staying home as much as you can. I know we have the Easter holiday coming up this weekend, so if that's something you celebrate, start thinking about how to do that virtually. This is not the time to hold family gatherings. This is really, really not. It's very, very important that you stay home. There's a lot you could do over like a technology platform or video chatting or something like that, but just kind of think about altering those things so you're not going out this weekend.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Nicole, and thank you for everything you and everyone else from Public Health is doing. I know you guys are working very hard for us and to keep our county and constituents safe, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner reports. Commissioner Hall, report.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Hunt.
Well, I might offer some optimistic or positive news about jobs. The Maritime Task Force created a plan to hire a coordinator that would then help develop the educational programs and job training programs along the coast. We've been successful in raising funds to hire the coordinator and are starting that process. So the good news is we'll be hiring a coordinator to further develop the educational and job training programs for maritime industry workers. So some good news on the horizon about jobs in the maritime sector.
Thank you. I would just say real briefly, I just want to let everyone know who's watching this that here at the county, we're all working really hard to actively manage this emergency as well as providing the service we provide as best we can during this time. And that extends to everyone from our Emergency Operations Center to HHS to Board of Commissioners. Every department is doing the very best they can during this really difficult time, like I said, to provide service and also be actively managing the emergency. So I just want to have a big shout out to all of our staff that are trying to work through this, and to all of our constituents. I just want to let you know that we're working very hard for all of you. You know, you might experience that we don't maybe email you back as quickly as we used to in the past. It's because we do have a high amount of calls and emails we're all receiving. I also want to remind everybody that we still have a call center that is operating in a call center email. So if you need some information on certain things, you can actually reach out to the call center. They're open every day of the work week, Monday through Friday. So that's a nice resource as well if you need to get some information there. If there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I will remind people that if you have constituent input for us, you can email us at boc@co.lincoln.or.us. We'll try to work on a way to have constituent input at our meetings, but for now we're having people do that through email. Our next, let's see. We actually don't have a next scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting room. I believe we're working on figuring out when that will be. So stay tuned for us next press release and notice on when our next Board of Commissioners meeting will be. We are adjourned for now. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Okay.